Hey, what's up? This is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com, and in this video I'm going to share with you some music production tips while recreating the beat in Taylor Swift's Me. So let's dive right in. Now when you listen to the song, it's pretty straightforward. You got some music, you got Taylor, Brendon, and some neon butterflies and paint, whatever's going on there. But the thing that stands out to me when I listen to it is the snare rolls and flams that are going on in the drums. So I'm going to be focusing my attention there first. And to do that, we're going to use an acoustic drum kit. In particular, I'm going to use Contact and the Abbey Road's library. Now, you could use any acoustic drum kit, and the reason why we're doing that is because it's essential that we have flams and the actual snare rolls in there to use, as opposed to a single drum hit as a kick and snare. It's going to be pretty hard to capture the nuance of what's going on in the drums with just those single hits. So we need things like the flams and snare rolls. So now let's go ahead and put down the beat. So we have that rhythm I just played, and let's just go ahead and focus on a 1-bar loop for right now. And as you can see, since this is not a drum rack in Ableton Live, it doesn't lock in the notes that pertain to the samples right away in the piano roll. These are just the actual notes that we played on my MIDI controller. So this is going to let me know what notes correspond to the sounds. Let's go ahead and mute the kick drum part. And I played it because it just helps me actually get the timing for the snare rolls and the snare parts. So just mute that for now. And as a matter of fact, that same rhythm, I'm going to hold Option and drag that up and give that to the actual snare. The snare starts off with that pattern. And I'm going to go ahead and hit Command-Shift-U so that my quantization menu comes up. I'll leave it about 40% and snap it to the nearest 16th note. That way, the notes will gravitate towards the nearest 16th note value in the grid. Hit OK, and there we go. Now what we're going to do is draw in the snare rolls. So let's figure out what key that's in. If I zoom out of my piano roll, there it is right there. And now with the elements, just once I double click that note, I'm going to hit Fold. So now I can just focus in on the notes that I've actually played, and it'll just zero out the other notes in the piano roll. This makes it a lot easier for me to just sequence the rhythm. So now let's go ahead and draw in some of those snare rolls. So I'll put one over here and experiment and just see the vibe and feel that it gives. Might need to scoot it back one, and we'll raise the velocity up a little bit. Oh, bring the velocity back down. And add another roll here. Let's bring that out. See what it sounds like again over here? So we might need one more hit in this section right there. So these snare rolls, let me go ahead and mute them, and you'll see the difference they make. So they add a real nice flavor and makes it a little bit more realistic by having those rolls in that section. Now let's just treat this a little bit sonically. So I'm going to use Ableton Live's overdrive. Just get a little bit of overdrive on that and bring this down to the dry and wet down. And cool. Now what I'm going to do is use a plugin that I like using, and this is made by XLN Audio, and it's the RC20 Retro Color. It's a great plugin that adds saturation, some noise, and basically really transforms and places the sound and texture into a very lo-fi type of vibe and quality. So we're going to kind of do our best to make this sound like a drum roll sample. we'll lower the noise. Now the purpose here is to get it to sound like a sample, so we are going to head over to Ableton Live's EQ8, bring that before that, and just do a little bit of EQing, taking out some of the low end and maybe some low mids as well, and boost up. Cool. Now let's go ahead and put our foreground beat, the kick and the snare, that are going to sit on top of this. So I've got a drum rack here loaded with a kick and a snare. And this is the LD kick, LD snare that you can find from Beat Academy sample pack that I've put together. This is filled with construction kits, loops, one-shots, transition effects. You could use in your projects. They're 100% royalty free, and it's yours absolutely free. Just click the link below in the description box to download this sample pack. So we have the kick and the snare, just doing the simple pattern here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, I'll have the drum rack on the left. I'm going to group the two of these and just do some saturation. We'll go to audio effects, saturate both of them. So I'll crank the drive up to 4 dB and I'll lower it just maybe -2 dB there, and do a little bit of EQing and some compression. Now, one thing I'm kind of feeling or vibing with in the acoustic drum set is having a ride cymbal. So I'm going to unfold this. There it is right there. And I'll hit fold again. And let's just keep this ride doing a quarter note pattern. So we'll draw on 4 of these there and lower the velocity on them as well. So they're there. They're kind of more felt than heard. So now let's listen without the drum rolls and the flams. And so I'll go back in here. Let's mute the drum rolls and the flams and see what difference it makes to the beat. So having the rolls in there, as well as the flams, really did add some life to the drums that we've got going on. So now let's go ahead and move over to the bass line. So for that, I'm going to use Ableton Live's wavetable. I'm going to click and drag that onto a MIDI track. But you could follow along using any 2-oscillator synthesizer you might have in your DAW. So we're going to go for a droney type of bass. So what we need to do is go from a sine wave and choose our sawtooth waveform. So if I play the riff, now the sawtooth might be a little too bright, so we're going to go ahead and filter out some of that brightness by turning down the frequency knob here. And then we're going to go ahead and give a little bit of resonance. Now you can hear how the note overlaps, so I'm going to switch that from polyphonic to monophonic. And then oscillator 2 is going to turn on, and select that, and we're also going to choose a sawtooth here. But we're going to detune this slightly. So we're going to go to the detune section and detune this one. There you go. And maybe filter it out a little bit more. And head over to the unison on the right-hand section here and hit classic. And this is just a global detune, or just some synths might have it as unison or detune. So just keep an eye out if you're not using Wavetable. Let's go ahead and put that with the beat. Now I'm going to add a little modulation, which means that it's going to open up the filter frequency, because when I do that, it does get a little brighter. So we're just going to do that. Instead of doing it manually, let's go ahead and let the LFO do that. So in this matrix, let's have the LFO. We're going to click filter frequency and assign that to the LFO. Just a little bit of that movement. So modulation sources, LFO, and the rate is a little too much, too fast. So just lower that down. And we're gonna lower the amount down so it doesn't go too far up. Just a little bit of movement going on in the bass. So there you go. Now let's put that again with the beat. I hope this video has been helpful for you to see how adding some of the nuances that a drummer might do using an acoustic drum kit to your program drums can really make a big difference. And so, as a gift to you for watching this video, I'd love to send you the sample pack that I mentioned earlier with some of the drums that I used in this video. Just simply click the link below in the description box to download this sample pack. It's yours absolutely free. It's my gift to you, and it's 100% royalty free, so you can use it in your projects today and share the music that you're making with the rest of the world. And it works in any DAW. So download the sample pack by clicking the link below in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.